Welcome to I'll Be There, the ultimate wedding podcast by Priya
and Nim
from Pristine Events. Whether you're a bride-to-be
or a groom gearing up
or just a wedding lover at heart, we've got you.
Welcome back to the second episode of our brand new podcast, I'll Be There by Pristine Events. I'm Nim.
I'm Priya.
And today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about how we started Pristine Events and, well, kind of how we started this podcast, if we get to that.
Yeah. So I thought it could be good to kind of go back to the beginning and just talk through sort of maybe like my journey with it, and then you could talk about your journey with it. So I guess for those of you that don't know, have another blog page called AnjandPri, which I run with my best friend Ange. We're actually both dentists. That's how we met. And anyways, we set up this page, which was mainly for fashion and lifestyle, but just through showing my life and what I got up to, I ended up showcasing a lot of events that I did just as hobbies, whether it was charity balls or whether it was my 30th birthday that was pre-Coachella, so Coachella themed, or surprise parties I threw for you. Like, it just ended up being something that I showed on there, and lots of our followers were really interested and really, I guess, inspired by like some of the ideas and the ways that I came up with things. So I think having that platform and having already showcased it all really helped when we did come up with doing Pristine, and I think people already had a lot of trust there with it. And I think my whole personality, I mean, growing up and as far as we've even been together, has just been events and organising things. So I think it was all really natural in that respect.
Yeah, I think particularly for you, like you said, because you had this page, it seemed very organic for you to start a business that was events related. You love events, you love planning things, but on top of that, you have a very kind of creative eye for lots of things, and you do things in a pretty unique way, I would say.
I'm kind of lolling because I'm remembering when I planned you multiple surprise things, and every time you walk in and you're like, what are you
Yeah, it got to a point where I was just like, please, Priya, like, after the 5th surprise birthday, I was like, can you just like not plan a surprise birthday for me? I don't want to go into a restaurant or an event and just kind of have to peer around the corner and then just...
You actually did that. You actually were like, who's coming? Who have you invited? Is this a surprise? I'm like, no, it's actually just a date night. You're like, are you sure? Checking your phone, checking what I'm doing on my phone. Like, I think I actually traumatized you. So I took a good, I'd say like 6-year break from planning you any events.
Yeah, and then you restarted it about 3 weeks ago when you did it again.
So I guess AnjandPri was a good way for me to show kind of what I did on the side. And then following our own wedding, I was kind of toying with the idea, and we actually were on the way to your family holiday on the plane, and I said to you, like, something in me, in my gut, is just telling me like we should just start this, and if it doesn't work, it's fine. I'll pick up more days of dentistry again, go back to doing that full time, but something in me is just saying, let's just give it a go.
Yeah. And you had the name already, didn't you? You had this idea that you wanted to, you love a bit of personalization. You wanted Pri in the name of an events company.
Yeah.
And then you discovered the word Pristine.
Yeah.
And then
but that
came
was
up
ages
with the
ago.
name.
That was like, I'd say like uni time or something. I remember like really vividly sitting at my desk at home and just like thinking of names for it. But like it was very much like a dream / I don't know. I never actually thought I would do it. It was more just like sitting there, you're like doodling on a piece of paper, and came up with it and kind of always had it in the background, but like didn't ever think I'd be in a position where we could do it. And then I spoke to you on the plane, and I was like, had my little notebook, and I was like, I'm just going to write out like loads of ideas for it and just see. And I remember I wrote kind of most of the way to the first stop, and then on the second leg of the flight, I wrote again. And like by the time we came back, I had like a notebook full of all these ideas and like things, and then I started researching and showing you and being like, okay, cool, like these are the kind of services we could offer, this is the kind of packages we could do, this is the kind of time frame we could cover it in, and then I think the next step was website design, which kind of was the big thing, because I've never really done anything like that before. But I think that's where YouTube for everything is just amazing, like the tutorials and stuff, and you're great at all the actually writing and the text, and I'm kind of good at the design side and the aesthetic, and I think together we managed to do that really quickly. I think within a month we made that, which was amazing, and luckily, because of all the events that I had and stuff from my own wedding, we had enough on there to kind of
because we'd always both been doing a lot of things at other people's weddings. We're generally, I'd like to think, we're the kind of the go-to people that you can rely on to sort things out in the background, whether that's events, birthdays. Can you sort out the decor? Can you speak to the venue? Can you help with finding a good DJ? Can you help with finding good balloon arch people? You love a good
That's my
plumage.
forte, yeah.
But I mean, winding it back a little bit, I guess it was from our wedding that we'd spent so long, particularly you had spent so long fine tuning all the specific things that you'd want for our wedding, planning everything to the utmost detail. I feel like there was perhaps a part of you that felt that there was something then missing after
Yeah.
our wedding, that you wanted to fill that void
Yeah,
that
but
you
it's weird.
had.
I didn't have wedding blues. You know how loads of people finish their wedding and they feel really like depressed after? I didn't have that. I felt like, especially after our Indian destination wedding, I felt really grateful it went so well because there was so many variables where, you know, things can go wrong when you're doing it abroad. There's just so many more things to think about. So I felt really grateful. And I felt like I just had this big surge of, which is weird because everyone's exhausted after their wedding, but I had a big surge of energy and I was just like ready to go again. And I was like, I just think like, let's just try because I mean, that's my attitude to everything. Like,
What's the worst that could
yeah, like
happen?
I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's what I always say to you. So like, I think I just came out of it where it was such a big high. I was so grateful. I was really happy. And I remember getting lots of feedback from suppliers. I remember the Kew Gardens venue coordinator person emailed me when I sent her my own little wedding pack that I made, and she was like, I've literally never had a bride in my history of working here who sent a pack as detailed which combines everything together. Like, this is amazing. And I remember even thinking from that in my head, I was like, this is really obvious stuff to put together, but actually maybe it's not obvious to a lot of people. So I think it was like little things like that that I was like, cool, like we can work from this.
Yeah, I mean, let's break down the timeline because I think we're speaking as if everybody listening to this podcast knows the history of our proposal, our wedding, and then our destination wedding. So we had a civil wedding in the UK, which was supposed to be for not that many people, and was supposed to be relatively low key. Ended
Yeah.
up being high
Medium
key,
key.
pretty high key. In terms of, it was basically a wedding and reception that we had in the UK. So it was that side of things. So at Kew Gardens, where you had made a plan, you'd made a pack, you'd made a minute by minute itinerary of exactly what you want happening at what time, when you want our pre-shoot, our post-shoot, our mid-wedding shoot. That's when you decided that we couldn't go to the drinks reception to take extra photos. So I think, yeah, that was when the Kew Gardens venue coordinator told you that she'd never seen a pack that detailed. And then fast forward, we then spent the next 6 to 8 months planning our India wedding. We had a planner alongside us who was sort of mainly based in India. And then in that process, I think is where you discovered how much you loved the planning process, but also were very meticulous about focusing on every single detail of the wedding. And then that was in February, came back from February, and then we went on this family trip where you decided that I want to do this. I want to give it a go and actually
Yeah.
start Pristine Events.
Yeah. So that was March 2023. And then we launched on June the 4th, Pristine's birthday.
Why did you pause as if I was going to
I was going to see if you knew
say the
it
end of your
and
sentence?
just
No, it was sometime in 2023, yeah.
so March, April, May. So about 3 months worth of like from coming up with the idea, creating the website, starting up the Instagram page and all of that. And then we launched officially on the 4th of June. And in that time, I'd also had some headshots and like a little mini video shoot with ArcShot, who are a great photo video company. And they had just by coincidence done lots of our wedding events as like the BTS content. And so that was great because then we could combine all of that together plus the headshots for our first ever trailer. And then we launched, and I remember sitting on your bed and being like just pressing post and then just freaking out, and just I guess watching us getting new followers and loads of people were so supportive and like, yeah, just really nice about it. And I think in my heart of hearts I knew that's what we were meant to be doing. And then I remember like slowly watching inquiries and stuff come in, and I remember the first day. So then the following week I had a day of consults, and it was on a Saturday, and it was the first day with the first consults on them. And actually, ironically, the first ever consult we had actually was our first ever wedding booking. So shout out to Anushka and Will, which was really sweet. But I think having that was then like all the validation that I think I and we needed to be like, cool, like let's just back ourselves and let's just go for it. And then we did our first ever wedding. So that was June. Our first ever wedding was August 2023. And it's just kind of been nonstop since then.
Yeah, I mean, it's really taken off. And like you said, you were fortunate that you had this page that sort of served as a springboard for getting lots of followers, and for people to realize that this isn't something that you just decided to do on a whim because you'd got married and you needed to scratch an itch.
Yeah.
And it's something that they'd seen you do
Yeah.
without officially kind of having a company to back you. You've been planning events for so long. And so they believed in what you were starting. I think with wedding planning and coordination, it is a business where there are fairly low barriers to entry in that, you know, you don't have to have a warehouse, you don't have to buy supplies, you don't have to spend a lot of capital to start the business. But with you, it wasn't just, I'm just going to do this because it seems like a lucrative thing to do. You did it because it was something that you're really passionate about, and people had seen that you were good at it, even though you weren't officially doing it. And then once you started doing it, or we started doing it, it just took off because you were doing something that A, you were good at, but B, you were passionate about. And I think people have seen that. They've seen that sort of authenticity from you and hopefully myself as well.
Yeah.
And things have just got busier and busier as time's gone on. And the team's expanded and continues to expand.
Yeah, it is crazy when you think back at our journey. And I think that exactly what you said, I think we genuinely really care. And I know everyone says that, and I'm sure the majority of people do, but like it no matter how many weddings we do, like we show up there as if like that's the only wedding we're doing all year. And actually, if it's really important that the bride walks in at this word of the song, we're going to make sure she walks in at that word of the song. If it's really important that, I don't know, like the favors are placed in this way, or like that the parents have got this certain thing set up in a certain way, then we will do all those things. They're not just things that, oh, if we've got time, it will happen. Like we understand a couple's priority, a family's priority, and we really, like, every wedding that we do is so special, and it won't feel samey to us or like just another one. And I think because I really felt the difference, I guess, from us in terms of like suppliers who really got it and really cared. And I think we want to make sure we're always one of those suppliers. And I think so far us and the team done a really great job at maintaining that. So yeah, which is also great. And then I guess from your end, you and your family have also always done kind of stuff in events as well, which has helped from all the practical and logistical
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, I think growing up, culturally, we were very heavily involved in various shows. So, like, whether it's kind of instrument shows, like South Asian instruments. My sister did dance shows. And then within our family, I'm the youngest of our cousins. So all of them have got married, and my parents are generally the go-to people, or part of a group who are the go-to people for planning weddings. So it's kind of just been in my DNA, but also I've had a lot of experience in going to venues, organizing. On top of that, at school, I was in our Asian show. I was the head of it. I think I mentioned that the last time.
Yeah, you love that fact.
I don't love that fact.
You do love that fact. You do bring it up a lot.
It makes it, yeah, okay.
That and the drama fact. They're like your fun facts.
I haven't told anyone about the drama fact yet, actually. Okay. I'll save that for
Stay tuned for another episode to find out what the drama fact is.
But yeah, so it did just work. I mean, it wasn't something that I'd ever thought about doing and pursuing professionally. And that perhaps is more because of my personality. I'm very sort of by the book, unlike you, who's a bit more. We're
basically the complete opposite.
Yeah.
In majority of what we think and how we act and what we want to do. Like, I'm super spontaneous and adventurous and like, I'm sure we'll be fine, we'll figure it out. Whereas Nim's a bit more like,
I mean, my parents raised a doctor's son. He married a dentist's wife, and here we are doing a wedding podcast, which was not on the cards. But you know, it is what it is. 2025.
Yeah.
New generation.
Yeah, and life's about being spontaneous.
Exactly.
Who wants to follow the rules?
I did.
You don't anymore, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, and actually going back to my experience, I actually forgot. I think I mentioned in the last podcast as well. I actually used to work for a catering company at uni as well, which was, I guess, wedding coordinators weren't a thing like 15 years ago, but it essentially was as a wedding coordinator, like me and my friend Raj, who ironically was my manager at my Superdrug job. I love mentioning Superdrug. I know you're going to say that. But anyway, we used to do this on the side, and we used to go and work on the weekends at some of the venues in London, in and around London, for this catering company, and basically just help run their day, coordinate guests, coordinate the couple. And I just loved it. I loved the buzz of it. I loved the happiness. I loved the love that you felt. And I loved just seeing everything come together. I used to cry at the speeches, and it was just a really wholesome. I didn't really see it as work, and so whenever there was an opportunity to do it, I was always like, "Yep, I'll come." Especially because I was doing it alongside someone else, so it just made it like a really fun team kind of day. So yeah, I guess that also, without even realizing, and I had no intention back then to ever pursue events, but that as well, I suppose, gave me an additional boost of confidence when starting this.
And we worked with them the other day.
Yeah, we did. That was
Blast from the past, which
yeah
is nice.
yeah, really nice, full circle moment as well. And then I suppose other things that we did, and I guess these can just be tips for if anyone's thinking of starting their own thing, just that what we found worked for us. I
I thought
think,
you were going to say starting your own wedding planning business. It's like,
well, I mean,
why are you
like,
giving them tips?
no, I mean, it's fine. I think a good thing is that what I really wanted to do was make sure that our page was helpful for brides and grooms. And what I found when I was looking at general planners before is that their Instagram and social media pages were just showcasing their couples, which is great. And obviously it shows the scale of their work. But I wanted to be a little bit different in that I wanted to show that, but I also wanted to give tips, like, and not gatekeep like ideas or gatekeep like, I don't know, trends and stuff. And I just think I wanted our page to be a go-to page where it's got like emergency kit packing lists, it's got questions to ask your venue, it's got venue names of like the top 10 barns that you might want to get married at, like whatever it is. I feel like it was just, I wanted it to be like an all-round good, useful page for couples to go to, whether or not they booked us as planners, because not everyone has it in their budget to have a planner or coordinator. But I just wanted it to be a really helpful page,
Yeah.
and not to
And I think
gatekeep.
you did that with your previous blog page, AnjandPri, where you guys were giving content essentially for free
Yeah.
that you thought would be useful to other people. And you brought that into Pristine Events where people might, the average person might look at it and say, why are you telling people for free what the top 10 best
Yeah.
barn venues are and what the capacity is and who the caterers you use and which DJs are? Because then they have no reason to come to you for advice because they can just get it for free from your page. But what I think it does is just builds up that trust in you and us as a brand because they feel that we will give them useful tips and not everything is transactional. Like people will hopefully book us because they want us on the day, they want us around for the event. But they like us as people and they trust us, and they think that will help make their day extra special. Sorry for cutting you off. You just do that thing where you just don't let me speak.
That's marriage, Hans. But no, yeah, like I completely agree. And I think, again, when I started the page, I didn't, like, touch wood, we're at pretty much 20,000 followers now, which is amazing. But I never did it with the intention. I wasn't really bothered about it growing really big. I just wanted it to be like a good page that people could come back to repeatedly for advice and tips, and it's done that. So I think as any small business that's starting off, just make sure you figure out who your target market are, what your niche is, and how you can give value. And if you were your followers, what would they want to see? Like, what would they save if they saw that reel? What would they keep coming back, or what would they rewatch? And I think when you figure that out, and once you get into the groove of it, I think that will really help you, rather than just putting like static posts up of just examples of your work. So I think that was a good thing. Other things that you did was reaching out when we started to suppliers and venues to introduce us, which is really good.
So I remember the original plan because I guess we wanted to be different. We wanted to give tips that people would find useful and what we would have found useful. So, for example, when we were looking for our civil venue, we were thinking, okay, you were thinking, I want an outdoor venue or a venue which feels like you're outdoors, perhaps a conservatory. But to find venues which have a conservatory, which accommodate for the number of guests that we have, which allow Indian food or your own florals, etc., is quite difficult. So I think the original plan was and we started and we have, I guess, the skeleton of it, a spreadsheet which has sort of the most common venues or very popular venues, the capacity, the prices, whether you can bring external suppliers, etc. I think what's difficult is that the prices are very volatile. Well, not volatile, they change seasonally.
Yeah.
And capacity, things like numbers, they aren't set in stone for some of them. I mean, they're ballpark figures, but depending on if you're having kind of standing receptions or people coming in afterwards after the sit down dinner, it is kind of very variable. So that's how we started it off. But one thing that we did try and do was sort of reach out to these venues, but also reach out to caterers to just maybe have a conversation. And one of them who reached out back to us was La Fresco, who were amazing. Shout out to Rahul from La Fresco. So he gave us, I guess, one of our sort of first coordination gigs, as it were.
Gig is too much. Gig makes it sound like we're a band.
Yeah, but that's what you call it, right? When
Do
you have
you?
like an opportunity, a gig. Yeah, anyway, Rahul, thank you for giving us our first gig, or one of our first gigs. Because he was, doing an event. There wasn't a coordinator, but he needed help on the day to sort of bring things together. And we did it. And I think we did a good job. And I think he realized that we did a good job. And it kind of just confirmed to us that we knew what we were doing. And I think we were going to be good at it.
Yeah. And we worked really well together. And actually it really showed to us the suppliers that emailed back and were really friendly and really welcoming and like gave us information about their services or whatever. Or like Rahul, who really kindly invited us in for a food tasting, and we did that, which was really nice. We built rapport with him, and then we've worked with him quite a few times since, and we recommend him and the Fresh Go to a lot of our clients. And then some suppliers that either just didn't get back or just didn't really say much. So it was nice to know kind of already who we kind of got on with and started to establish ourselves with. And then I think in terms of like, we get asked a lot, like people want to start things and then they feel really scared, they're scared of failure and all of these kinds of things. I got asked quite a lot about that on my last Q&A. What would you say to that? Like, how did you feel? Because I suppose with me and you, I didn't actually ever I just kind of was like, we're doing this. I never really said like, how do you feel? Do you want to do this? Do you want to give up your weekends and like your evenings and whatever? But we just went along with it. And I'm very lucky you
But
generally
I'm
go.
used to you doing that.
Yeah,
so
you
just
go along with
deciding
my
what
ideas.
we're doing and then.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life. No, but like genuinely, like I actually know we never sat down and were like, okay, what if this fails? Are you scared? Are you anxious? Like we just kind of, it was very quick. The whole turnaround was like literally a few months. So like, how did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, because, you watch like Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and things, and people pitch their ideas, and investors will say, "Why aren't you giving this up to pursue this full time?" We were fortunate that we're still doing our other careers whilst also balancing this. So the worry about things failing, or the worry about the business kind of not taking off, is more embarrassment rather than financially we're going to be ruined. Because, like I said earlier, it's a low barriers to entry business. There isn't a huge amount of capital that we're investing into it. So we're not losing out a huge amount financially. It's more just, oh, they started something and then it disappeared. And that, I think, was more of an ego thing that I was concerned about. In terms of starting the business itself and how I felt about starting it, I was excited because having your own thing, having your own anything is always exciting because you're in control of it. When you spent your whole life working for somebody else or the NHS or what have you, you're at the beck and call of other people. You're coming in at a certain time, leaving at a certain time, requesting annual leave, where we can take on as many bookings as we want, or we can take on as little bookings as we want. We can pick and choose as we've gotten busier, the types of weddings that we want to do. And we can gauge from couples whether we think they're going to be a fun couple and a couple that we want to work with. So yeah, to your point, how I felt about it at the time, I was excited by the uncertainty, but excited to have something for our own. And I just felt that we would work together quite well. We're quite honest with each other. We are very different, but I think that meant that we could focus on different aspects of the wedding. Like when we had our wedding, it was so obvious that, for 4 or 5 months leading up to the wedding, I was not doing very much. But when it came into it, when it came up to sort of 6 weeks, 2 months before, and it came to the guest management side of things, in particular, the room allocation, the food, that was all kind of, I mean, you didn't really have any input into that.
Yeah.
And similarly, for the decor side of things, I was sort of there, but that was all up to you.
Yeah.
And then that translated into the business where, I don't really talk about trends and decor and whatever else you talk about, styling and things like that, because it's not my forte. But other things are my forte, or things that would like to think that I'm much better at, because I just think of things from a different perspective, the guest side, and you think of things from the couple side. And it works.
Yeah. No, we are a good balance. I think similarly from my point of view, I think I was scared of failure. And I think especially that day when we posted, I was like, oh my God, what if we do this and then nothing comes of it? And then I think the next time was a big low, was when that week, the week of my first consultations, and I really thought this other couple were going to go ahead just based on everything that they said. And at the end of the call, they're like, yeah, we want to go ahead. And then I was kind of just waiting for that to come, because I said to you, I need my first booking. And then I think that's the universe's way of just saying like, this is right for you. And then I remember getting that email from her, and then I was really excited, expecting it to be like, want to go ahead. And she was like, oh, I really like you, and I really thought our call was really great, but we've decided to go in a different direction or whatever. And I remember I sat with you and I like cried in your little, it was back when we lived at your house before we bought our own place, and I just cried in your little TV room, and I was like, oh my god, maybe this is the universe's sign that this isn't meant to be, and like maybe this whole thing is dumb. Like,
what are their names?
I'm not
We hate you.
I actually still remember
whatever your
it.
names are.
I actually still remember them because these things really like stick. You know what my memory
I heard
like
they're divorced
anyway.
now.
No, you don't even know who they are. Anyway, my point being, I remember being like really like deflated, and I like spoke to you. I called my sister and I was like, oh, I'm just really gutted. And then I think the next day or the day after, then Will and Anushka had confirmed for their wedding. And I was like, okay, like actually, I do think that whatever's meant to be yours will come to you. And so, and that was such an amazing wedding to start our whole career on. And they're such a lovely couple. We did such a good job that day. We had multiple people coming up to us saying like, you're doing a fantastic job. The groom's mum was a events planner in New York and was like, you're doing a phenomenal job, which was the biggest imposter moment, but really proud moment as well. So I think, and then this venue came up to us and I've been watching you all day, you're doing so well. So I think then after that, I was like, cool, like we've got this. But actually, you know, even though it's been a year and a half, how many moments do I have like that with you still about failure and about like, is this right? I don't know. So I think that's just with any business. I think you just have to back yourself, and I think you have to surround yourself by good people that will lift you up when you're having like a down moment, when you're kind of
and
like,
I think it's lucky that there's two of us, right?
Yeah.
And also we're a couple, we can do it together. So when you are alone, rarely are you alone, but when you're the only person who's feeling low, the other person's there to kind of pick you up. I guess the only issue is if we're both feling low, and then
then we have to rely on our poor team.
The team or our family.
Or our family. Yeah, my sister hears it all, bless her. So I think so far it's been a great journey, and I think if we have to wrap this up now, but like, what would you say are your 3 top tips if you're starting your own business, regardless of it being in weddings or anything
These are the
else?
sorts of questions you should ask me beforehand, so I have an answer.
Okay,
rather than just like throwing. When did we decide that we were going to ask each other the top 3 tips for?
No, but like I feel like that's a good, useful thing to tell people. You can ask me then.
Yeah, but you've obviously planned
No,
it.
I
You just didn't
haven't.
tell
I'm
me
just-
that I was supposed to plan it. No, I'm going to tell you what my top 3. What was the question? My top 3 tips for
If you're starting your own business.
you're starting your own business. I listen to a lot of podcasts actually, so I'm just going to pick and choose things that I've heard. I think do something that you're passionate about. Don't start business just because you think it can make a lot of money, because whilst it may make a lot of money, if you hate what you're doing, there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
And also people will see through it, especially in something like the wedding and events industry. If you're not passionate about this, like obviously weddings, to be completely transparent, obviously there's money to be made because people are spending a lot of money on the most special day of their lives. But if people see that you're just there for a quick buck, it becomes very transparent, and then you will disappear from the industry altogether. So do something that you're passionate about. Number 2, don't be scared of failure. Because people fail all the time. And then again, I'm sure people listening to this will have listened to 1,000 other podcasts about, you know, I don't know, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or somebody else starting some business and that failed, or dropping out of university. Things fail all the time, and it's only through failure that you actually learn. So that's my second one. And my third one is patience. Be patient. Because in the world that we live in now, we want instant gratification for whatever it is that we're doing. And you just need to wait it out. If you believe in what you're doing and you're doing a good job at it, I think in time it will succeed, or it should succeed. So you just got to wait it out and give it your all.
Yeah, no, great tips.
What are your 3 tips, Priya?
Thank you for asking. No, I think my first one would be do your research based on other businesses, even if they're not exactly the same, but similar sort of vibes, just to see what's out there, what your USP could be, how you could stand out, because you don't want to just copy what other people are doing. And you also want to just, I guess it's assert yourself into that market and let people know why you're different. And I really spent like a good few weeks looking at loads of different planners across like the UK, just looking at their websites, looking at their social media pages, looking at how they present themselves. Are they more professional? Are they more like kind of like personable, etc. So do your research really well, and then make notes on like what you like, what you don't like, and how you're going to be. The second thing I would say is enjoy the process, which I guess is similar to your be patient one. And I'm really guilty of you're very good at reminding me like to enjoy the process and be patient, whereas I'm super impatient and I put a lot of work in, so it's very easy to, like you said, want instant results. But remember, a lot of it comes from the fun of like you actually learn so many skills along the way, like learning how to build a website, like learning how to do your bookkeeping, learning how to edit
Edit
a
a
podcast.
podcast.
Jinx. So yeah, like I think there is so much fun along the way, and we're very lucky we get to do it together. We've got like a wonderful team who we get to have so much fun with. So I think it's easy to just kind of keep looking at the goals, and whether that's financial or just whatever personal, it's very easy to focus on that. But remember that every day is part of it. And then my third one would be, I remembered it and now I feel like it's gone out of my head. Enjoy the
You should have
process.
thought about it before.
My third one would be, I know it's going to be really basic, but I actually think like use
Live,
social
laugh,
media.
laugh.
No, it's
Okay.
not live. That's your sister's slogan, isn't it? No, hers is she believed she could, so she did. Shout out to you, AnjandPri. No, I think my last one is to use social media, because that is just like
What? So say that again.
to use social
Oh,
media,
right, okay.
because that's like the world that we live in. And I appreciate it's not for everyone, but it is a great tool. And if you understand it and if you can market your business and yourself well on there, that is a great kind of foot forward in whatever it is that you're doing. So take time to understand reels, content, stories, build a connection with your followers, let them get to know you and your brand and your journey and your message. And I think that will help you a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any business starting now could survive without any form of social media. I mean, social media includes Twitter and LinkedIn. It's not just Instagram.
Yeah. No.
So depending on your business type, I think you need to have one of those.
Yeah. But I think just know it well. People just get it sometimes and then will post a random thing, but understand what you need to post to get your brand out there and get your message out there, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I feel like we've been rambling a long time. I hope this was helpful.
I think it was. I mean, less helpful, but more informative about
Our journey.
us.
So yeah, well, I guess we can tell everyone that our next podcast is going to be about proposals, which is very exciting. So we can, for any of you who are new on your journey or maybe have people that are around them that are going to get engaged soon, this might be a good one for you to tune into. See you then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Please like, follow, subscribe for more.